It is something that we have seen come through in this tournament, the double CP. Alpha pressures the Kestrel a lot as well. But Impunity, we could see an actual Alpha counter come out here.
That's really interesting. So Elite 8 played a double CP composition yesterday against Popeyes, and when Popeyes picked, they had a Kestrel, I believe it was a Finn and a Samuel, something that really, it was a Sky, something that couldn't really go into defensive items as readily as possible. Impunity have the chance to pick something that can go in.
On the Lance, they're going to be hugely impactful if they choose to take any early invades, as well as if they come into lane and land that, if they land that Impale onto the Celeste. Obviously, Celeste is going to take a lot of punishment.
Certainly, and that's where Quad d'Ivoire can be very impactful. Quad d'Ivoire has been such a fantastic captain to watch in this tournament so far at Scoundrel. He has innovated his build wherever possible, and I'm expecting on a Lance we'll see something very likely. It may not be something huge. That's the thing about Quad d'Ivoire. Sometimes he goes down a build which is absolutely crazy, but we'll talk about it in sets as Spaghetti has entered the lane. Hanyega's in a bit of trouble. Does take about half his health and damage, but the Glimmer shots are continuing to rain down, and Spaghetti really making this Celeste's life a misery.
So when I was learning CP Kestrel, I learned from a guy in Europe called Itachi, and he was basically talking to me about how CP Kestrel absolutely wrecks Celeste because of the pure range advantage you have at the start and how squishy Celeste is in terms of HP. You can just sit there and rain Glimmer shots down. That's the first blood. That happened before we even could see it go down. And
it's just like, yes, let's go, guys. This is it.
First game of the final, and first blood goes over to Impunity. Oh, and again, that's that wonderful use of the Githian wall. It roots up the Alpha, and here we go. DefQ locked into a bit of a duel.
Yeah, DefQ is very content to be doing this. Look at those heart throbs stacking up. DefQ looking for the kill. Quad d'Ivoire will find it, but now DefQ in a bit of trouble. Prime Directive lands, and unfortunately not enough for Quad d'Ivoire to get his carry out alive. Official Hines sticking around. Quad d'Ivoire has to be careful. He hasn't bitten off more than he can chew. Helo Genesis starting to fall from the sky. Quad d'Ivoire will go down as a return.
Wow, Elite 8 get a return 2 kills here from a little bit of an overextension in lane by Impunity. Official Hein has his heroic perk proc. That reboot will come through, but pre-6 is not that much of a big deal because you don't have to use your ultimate at this point in time. Spaghetti has been happily farming in the jungle, by the way. That's kind of where he's been sat for the majority of the game. We'll see his back camp spawn and we'll head back towards them. Interestingly enough, because this is CP Kestrel and Blackfeather, you will want to buy Atlas Pauldrons as iLock. You want to buy Atlas Pauldrons because obviously the Blackfeather is going to provide a significant threat to your Celeste, so you want to slow his attack speed, but you're also going to want that contraption for the CP Kestrel. There is, again, one of those situations where both carries warrant a defensive item choice, and it's going to be very crucial which one you choose first.
Yeah, no, I can see that, and for iLock and Official Hein, I can certainly see an Atlas being prioritized. Impunity, pushing up here, looking for perhaps a overextended Elite 8 member. They don't find it, but they do take away one of those treants for themselves. Quad d'Ivoire going to run on in. Githian wall knocks everyone sideways. Official Hein getting into the fight. Hasn't got his reboot up yet. It will come up in a second. Hanyega's very comfortable just laying down the trap spam. It is going to be Elite 8 forced under their turret, but now Alpha does have her passive available. Yeah,
that reboot's back up available. Good weathering of the storm by Elite 8, by the way. They've been able to kind of rebut everything that Impunity has tried to do here. No level 6 for DefQ. He has to be careful about these engagers. Can't get out as easily. I'm going to say Quad d'Ivoire hasn't been hitting as many of those impales as I think he would have liked, but the Githian walls have been pretty solid.
Have been solid, have certainly been setting things up. All this time, though, Spaghetti's stealing away the camp, so as long as Official Hein is in vision, that just makes it so easy for Spaghetti to do so. Hanyega is looking for a kill to Quad d'Ivoire, and it will be Quad d'Ivoire falling, not able to give him more away the damage. Hanyega's goes down very low, but here comes Official Hein. There's the Prime Directive straight on top of DefQ. Active Camera Trap means that he cannot chase, and the core collapse goes out from Hanyega's to make sure Official Hein gets out safely.
Yeah, Quad d'Ivoire unfortunately got caught out by Hanyega's Celeste there. The core collapse at the end there locked him in the turret range, and Quad d'Ivoire took a couple of turret hits there and went down for his sins. But a fine Official Hein comes in, does back up, protects the iLock and Hanyega's from those stray Glimmer shots. And again, Elite 8 off to a good start versus Impunity here. And this is something that we did see yesterday. A couple of times, Impunity's early game did start to struggle, and they came back in the later stages where coordination and build path really started to come into effect.
Certainly, it is about 1,000 gold lead now for Impunity, so in that sense, Spaghetti has been doing work to keep that CS lead in the favor of his team.
I was just saying, people might be wondering why double tier 1 shield has come out for DefQ. Actually gives you more shielding for the money investment at this point in time against the Celeste.
And the Alpha, it's a double C composition coming out from Elite 8, something that they prioritized yesterday, and something that yesterday when they prioritized it was well thought out considering the composition they were against. A Sky, a Finn, and of course that Celeste, Kestrel it was. A fight breaking out, Jaegers catches Spaghetti in the core collapse. Spaghetti trying to dance away, but it's going to be Official Hein on top. Finds the kill for himself, and now DefQ stuck in the middle of it all. He's going to go down. It's 2 for Elite 8, and they're looking for the third, but Cote d'Ivoire will not give it to them.
Wow, warning bells starting to sign here for Impunity. They might be ahead in gold, but right now, Elite 8 taking every fight they have taken in the last 2 minutes. Again, Jaegers on this Celeste has been incredible with his positioning, been very aggressive, more so than you'd expect. That's a great core collapse again, going to force out the boots from Cote d'Ivoire. Spaghetti did have the goal to combine that Shatterglass, by the way, but didn't choose to do so before that fight. There are some item spikes being hit on the side of Impunity. Serpent's Mask out for DefQ gives him the sustain. Fountain not yet completed, by the way, for Cote d'Ivoire. That's a big deal because Fountain is now there for iLock. And Jaegers already picked up the Eve of Harvest, something that they do often see. Official Hein's going to get rooted up.
Yeah, no passive available for the Alpha. He's going to get knocked into the one-shot, tries to dive forward and get something for himself, but could not do so. Now the siege starting to break out. It is Cote d'Ivoire heading down to the shop to complete that fountain just in case things were to turn south. But this turret just taking so much damage. Solar Storm flies out. DefQ jumps into it. Takes a bit of damage in the process, but it's not going to mean too much. This turret is falling. Core Collapse delays it, but now here comes DefQ looking for Jaegers. Great Giffian wall, and Jaegers will fall. iLock throws out the fountain, but I'm not sure it's enough. He goes down as well. A double for DefQ, and this is where an Impunity come alive.
Elite 8 stood too long trying to protect a turret that was destined to go down, and I've got to say, Cote d'Ivoire's positioning right there was absolutely perfect. Moves up, gets a double Githian wall, locks them in up against the wall, threatens the Impale, and the only way they could go was towards the brush. Impunity, rough early game again, but steadied the ship, and they pick up the gold mine on the turret, and suddenly they are miles ahead in gold.
This is just what happens. Those first damage items is when they spike around.
Yeah.
It reminds me of TSM in North America. They play so heavily around their item spike capabilities. That first Aftershock, that first Sorrow Blade, that first Shatterglass, whatever it may be that gives you that first power spike, and then they execute so perfectly. That's a 3,000 gold lead out of nowhere.
Yeah, gonna have to defend this first tier turret though, as the Elite 8 are pushing as a unit. Look at Spaghetti's build path. I wonder where Spaghetti's going. Is he moving towards a double Shatterglass here?
We'll have to find out, as it does look like Cote d'Ivoire wants to fight. Core Collapse catches up the lance, but the Glimmer shots from Spaghetti are just ripping through iLock's health bar. Just doesn't have any shielding to deal with this Kestrel.
Elite 8 on one level needed to get the overdriven Heliogenesis, which is going to give a massive range advantage back to Jaegers, potentially put him out of the range of the Glimmer shot for the most part too. It's a big item spike, a big level spike for him, and he's not too far away from hitting it. These back camps might actually put him over the edge. One shot, one kill comes through. It looks like Impunity want to fight now before they have to deal with that. Aren't
really finding anyone caught out of position. Is going to be Elite 8 making their way to the turret long way round. Solar Storm going to hit into DefQ, and Impunity with a chance to disengage. All set up. Active camo goes out. Official Hein gets locked in it. Impale goes out, and he is rebooting. Will be able to come back up, but DefQ looking to try and find the kill. Glimmer shots from afar. Spaghetti, that artillery cannon, but still Elite 8 surviving. Jaegers have to be careful. Impunity still looking to put pressure on. The minion wave about to hit into this turret scoundrel. Spaghetti dances on the line of death. You have to respect the Heliogenesis spam that can come out of this Celeste.
Especially with the Eve of Harvest now completed, he can basically do it all day long. He kind of can basically equal the range of the CP Kestrel now as well. And remember, during the cast animation of the Glimmer shot, CP Kestrel is static. It's perfect time to use those Heliogenesis and punish her for using those Glimmer shots. It's kind of a war of the skill shot, but at this point, I would say Heliogenesis is easier to hit than the Glimmer shot is.
And it's overdriven now, which means that the range advantage that Jaegers has available is huge, just to sit so far back and avoid being poked back in return.
We've yet to see too many gauntlets have a massive impact here, by the way, for iLock. It's been kind of quiet on that front. Looks like it's a double Shatterglass. This is what we've seen in Europe on CP Kestrel all the time. It basically designed, I guess, specifically to do as much damage to the Celeste is physically possible. And again, not much shielding coming through as well, so this makes that high impact damage for the double Shatterglass really impactful. Looks like iLog's actually going towards a Crucible before going towards either a Contraption or an Atlas Pauldrons, which means both DefQ and Spaghetti are going to have a great time, but we've got to fight.
Yeah, Spaghetti gets a little bit caught out by Official High. DefQ, though, he's jumping onto Hunjager's, blocks up the core collapse, and now Hunjager's in trouble. And everyone turning to try and support, but DefQ dances on top of that Celeste. Official High got to find Spaghetti, but he goes into his reboot process, looking to come back and looking to do the damage. Spaghetti trying to escape a Prime Directive at range. DefQ just being that brick wall, and he will fight the kill. Impunity just playing perfectly.
I'm so glad to finally see a Southeast Asian team bring something like a Black Feather to the table to deal with these picks like Celeste, to deal with the going down here. We're going to have a fight too.
Impale one shot. iLog takes a huge chunk of damage, but it's not the main target. They were looking for that Celeste, and I'm sure if that one shot connected, DefQ was dancing on over. But Official Hind wants this. Gauntlet going to catch up DefQ as he has to dance backwards. Spaghetti looking for a better position to throw out the Glimmer shots. DefQ dodging away from the CC. Hunjager's caught across the wall, and Spaghetti now running for his life. Fountain comes out, Spaghetti will go down. There's the Termination Protocol right on top, but a good Giffian wall disengages, and DefQ should be able to escape here. iLog trying to keep in. And we have come out of a pause. They want Official Hind to be able to dive onto Spaghetti. So what a Crucible allows the team to do, especially for iLog as well, is that they can go to a danger zone where a active camo is and continue the pressure.
Yeah.
The odd issue is they haven't gone into a Contraption, and usually that's what we see when there's a CP Kestrel.
Yeah, I think if you're worried about active camos, you're probably better off picking a Contraption than you would be picking off a Crucible. The only thing I think about the Crucible is that maybe it keeps Hunjager's, who's not going a reflex block, safer from something like a Lance. So you're using it, I guess, initially to stop at that engage from the Lance, and that's potentially where I think he's more interested in, because Hunjager's just has no intention of getting his own reflex block here, really just accelerating that damage build. Looks like he's working towards, I mean he's got a piercing shard, right? That could be a Shatterglass that he could build that heavy prism into. It could just literally be 2 broken mids, which we have seen from time to time, by the way. It's been a while since I've seen it, but it is a build that exists.
Oh, Solar Storm going to catch the Gold Miner. Impunity trying to rush it down, but Elite 8 coming in does go over to Impunity. The fight beginning. Spaghetti dancing around in his active camos, and Hunjager in just so much trouble. He goes down, Gauntlet goes out, but it's just not enough. Official Hind getting caught on up, popping that Termination Protocol on top of DefQ, but it's just not effective. This is the ace coming through for Impunity at the 14-minute mark as they find themselves 8,000 gold in the lead.
And they're going to rush straight to this choke point turret there. No qualms about it, not trying to push the lane up specifically. Actually, they're just looking like they're dancing around. Here we go. They're going to move on to this turret now. And again, you saw how powerful that Black Feather was against the Celeste. She can do nothing. She's consistently in a state of running away. One shot, one kill. 450 damage right to Celeste's face. Forces her away from that turret. Can't defend it. And suddenly it's another turret in the bag here for Impunity, and they accelerate that gold lead very close to 10k. Active camo's getting set up.
Oh, this is dirty, Spaghetti. You're not allowed to do this. They have no idea where Spaghetti is, and they could just walk straight into the clutches. You see Impunity disengaging. They're all standing in it. Oh, the 3-man stun. Spaghetti finds them all. Hunjager's goes down. Official Hind goes down. iLog gonna go down as well. It's a 3-man ace. It's ridiculous, Scoundrel. And Impunity with 25 seconds are certainly going to take down these Vein Crystal turrets and secure themselves Game 1 in this finals.
Patience is a virtue, and Spaghetti has it in spades. Waited, wasn't interested in Alpha, wasn't interested in Arden. He wanted Celeste and ended up getting a 3.